Welcome to Deep Thought, a fight for the direction of masculinity. You know one thing, and we definitely see it in these YouTube spaces. We definitely see it here, and you'll see it in the media. You probably see it in workplaces. You see it in your spiritual institutions. There is a fight for the direction of masculinity. And unlike what many people think, it ain't those feminists or any other women's group or even somebody in the alphabet. There's so many letters in there. No disrespect to anybody listening who's in one of those queer communities or other sexual communities. But I'm just saying, it's not anything on them. It's not from outside. There's a civil war, honestly, within masculinity and the presentation of it. And you see it online. You see it online. It's a definite thing. When you have different groups saying, no, this is what it means to be a man. This is what it means to be a man. And it's actually, like I said, it's in the real world. I've been seeing this since I started paying attention to it as far back as the 80s. Because it's always that thing, well, this is what you're supposed to do to be a man. Nah, this is what you're supposed to do. Oh, you're supposed to be sensitive and all of that. No, you got to be hard and all of that. And, it's even magnified more because now you have influencers. More people have access to the mainstream media and all of that. And, and you have people going against each other. Indeed, and, it ain't major wars yet over. No such said yet. But, you've probably been some fights out there between individuals like, no, this is what you got to do to be a man. Or, and especially when people start using that term alpha male and stuff. Even when people using those different alphabets, I've noticed people say, well, I'm a sigma male. I'm better than an alpha male and everything. And just for the record, please don't come on here saying, well, I'm a sigma male. I'm this or that. I don't really care. I ain't into that. In my view, every man's an alpha of his space, period. All that other stuff, I'm like, whatever. And I only use it for reference. But it's still that fight. And it's like, okay, who's going to win? Because, some people say, what's the outsider? They doing it. No. If in any situation, no one can mess with you. No one can bother if you're strong within. If you had a critical mass and you had a generally consensus view on what constitutes manhood, and you had a critical mass of men following that, everybody would be on the same page. It's nothing the outside could do about it. No one outside of it could do anything. But see, the battle is within. Who's the alpha? You're beta, And I gotta take some credit. Not credit, but some responsibility for some stuff as well. I gotta take some responsibility. How often have I said something like, oh yeah, I've talked about select and non-select. Now, here's the problem. And this is when I first I saw it before, but then it got intensified because like when I put out my book, Nice Guys and Players, I had several guys saying, well, a nice guy is better than a player. But if they've actually read my book, I'm specifically saying a man can have both. And indeed, even the select and non-select thing, because we have some content creators, they'll try to say, well, the non-select is better than the select and try to go at it. But as the person who introduced those terms to this entire space, I say it specifically in my book, a non-select man can become select. I ain't describing both sides. In fact, that's my whole program. Taking a man from non-select to select and from select to even better. That's my whole program. But because of the nature of the conflict within masculinity, about the direction of it, people fight against it, Instead of just saying, hey, a man is a man, let's just be the best version. See, in my view, masculinity is about being assertive, aggressive, being protective, protecting their family, providing the direction. And it's the same masculinity a lion has, a termite has, a cat has. It's an energy. And I will always maintain that. I will go in front of a crowded audience and say, look, that's it. It's about being active. But it's not about, well, if you're doing this, you're more manly, or you're doing this. Oh, no, you got to be more sensitive. Or you guys but all of those things are part of being masculine anyway. All of those things masculinity is all encompassing, as long as you're active. But you have different people fighting, and it's based on what their own definition of being a man is. But my thing is this: what are you fighting for? Who you trying to lead astray? And then, honestly, you got some people who work to suppress masculinity who are men. They work to suppress it. They claim victimhood. I'll just say it straight up. That's not masculine to me. The man is supposed to be the protector, the warrior. You can't be a victim like that. A hunter. He got to feed his family. He has to lead his family. He has to protect his family. He need to make a good love to his woman. Hey, that's part of masculinity too. Shoot. But there's a fight for the direction of it. And I'm going to tell you what. Who's going to win that fight? The one who comes the closest to the natural blueprint for masculinity. The one that comes the closest. The group that comes the closest. With no excuses. And I'll just put it out there like that. Because it's all about being active. It's about being strong and protective and all of that. Nobody should have a problem with that. But you have some men who, quite frankly, their masculinity really isn't as developed. So they want to, instead of just working, they want to be stuck where they are. But we can't have that. We can't have that. And that's the thing, though. That's the thing. And this is what I would tell every man, because I've had to go through the journey. I had to go through that journey. Every man needs to bring up his own masculinity. He needs to be assertive, aggressive. He needs to, at the very least, have some control over his personal life. He needs to be sovereign. Anybody who follows me on my men's channel know I talk about that a lot, but that's a key part of masculinity. But different men don't need to be fighting. In fact, what these different strange schools of thought and everything need to be doing is meeting up and saying, hold up, I'm bringing this, you bringing that, let's bring it all together. All right? And it still needs to conform to the natural blueprint. All right? And I want y'all to think about what I'm saying, okay? Anyway, that's all I have for now. Get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.